and I am the founder and visionary of A Gift to Dance. And I want to tell you about my book. It's called A Gift to Dance, Cultivating Your Ministry. In this book, I detail how to understand your call, starting and maintaining your ministry, giving it structure, dance etiquette, how to flow in different shifts of the spirit, garment care, and so much more. To purchase your signed copy, please click the link down below in the description box. You can use this as a tool and a resource to take your ministry to the next level. So grab your copies now.
To tell you a story about a man called ShaQuann. John joined a dead church. They didn't believe in shouting. They didn't believe in dancing and speaking in tongues. But when they opened the doors of the church, John joined that church.
Hey, how you
Cool.
doing?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing well. Welcome to the dance room. Thank you for coming on today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's definitely an honor.
All right, no problem, no problem. Now, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to those who may not know who you are?
Okay, well, I'm Dwayne Terry. My mime name is 1Purpose Mime. Born and raised in East Point. Shout out to my hood, East Point, Headland and Delow,
Hey.
home of Outcast. For sure. Only child, man. It was just me, my mom, and my dad growing up. Some obstacles in life that made me into a man early, and I grew from that. And here we have it, here on the Gift to Dance in the dance room.
Hey. Well, this is a special edition of the dance room. I wanted to highlight a lot of those who are here in Atlanta. I'm in Atlanta, so I was like, why not? I met some really great people here in ministry who are really focused and actually serious about it. So I was like, let me invite them in and create something just for them. So thank you for your willingness to be a part of that on today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, great.
Thank you.
So let's jump right into it, shall we? All right. So
let's do it.
What does the Mime Ministry mean to you?
That's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, mime is a way that we can reach those that might not even come to church or touch the four walls. Mm-hmm. So when you say ministry, I see ministry as messenger. We are messengers, right. And we use the art form to display a message and tell a story via words, poetry, music, sound, instruments. Mm-hmm. And our job is to touch those and meet people right where they are, in whatever that circumstance might be. That ministry, our ministry is used to touch and meet needs of those that might be hurting, going through stuff, and even for those that might just need a laugh. I think a lot of times in life, man, we don't laugh enough, or we don't smile enough. And I believe that mime is in position to bring hope for the hopeless, to restore those people that have been broken down or been misused or feel like there's no life. I think we can tell a story without saying words, and it might mean more than actually speaking to somebody. Right. So that's why I feel it's important in such a time as this.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Now, speaking of, being in ministry, what is some advice that you can give to those starting out? I'm seeing a lot of mime ministries and mime ministers pop up out of the woodworks now, especially now that we're in quarantine. So, what are some advice that you can give to those who are actually starting out? Because what we don't want to do is we don't want um, to withhold our experiences to the point where we
Yeah.
can't help somebody else. So, what
Yeah,
are some
no
advice
doubt.
you give them?
So one thing I would like to encourage the moms that's been doing it for a while is man, be open to this new school and this young age of moms that's coming. Now granted, there when we started, there were certain ways that we did things, certain rules or protocols that moms put out there that we had to abide by. But I would tell them, man, don't discourage the young generation from doing it in their own way or how they interpret it, because that's all mime is, interpretation. And so
Yeah.
everybody interpret things different. And so when we think about just where we at in today's time, you got TikTok, you have your Instagram. Back when we started, it wasn't an Instagram, it wasn't a TikTok. And so we have to be open as elders or seasoned mimes to embrace this new culture or this new wave of mind. And so my encouragement to the young mimes is this: man, be free, be open to change the shape of how mime is.
Yeah.
Now that might look different for others. So I have a group that I mentor, and one of the guys came to me and said, "Bro, I'm thinking about doing it this way." And I'm like, "Man, there's somebody out there in the world that'll be impacted and affected by how you minister of your style of mind." And so I would encourage young moms to do this first. Find somebody that piques your interest, their style of mind. Okay? Look at it just from a natural standpoint, because mime is nothing but dance. We've taken it and made it gospel, and we use it as ministry. Okay? So for my young minds, find somebody that inspires you, and then study their style, and then ask them to mentor you. And after you ask them to mentor you, start practicing. And what I did as a young mom, I would watch videos over and over and over. And then I just start practicing and start developing my own way of doing it. And it's
Yeah.
okay
Yeah.
to make the mistakes. It's okay to learn different styles and make it into one. That's all dance is. Dance is just taking different forms of dances and making it your own. And so I would encourage you guys, find you a style that ministers to you, that touches you. Because we in the information age where you can find videos. It's a bunch of mime videos out there. Even the original mimes. I'm sorry. Marceau. I always mix his name up. But there are so many mimes out there that you can learn and glean from. Charlie Chapman, pull from these mimes, K&K, the Mime Boys. Pull all that, whatever touches you, and embrace that style. And as you develop that gift, as you continue to stir it, God will start giving you your own way of doing it. Don't listen to these old head mobs that tell you that there's one specific way. And they'll get mad at me when I say it, but it's fine. There's not one specific way to do mine. Whatever God put in your heart, however He's telling you to do it, however He's showing you how to do it, then you do it. God spoke different visions to different prophets, to different evangelists, and everybody had their own way of doing it. So don't be discouraged by these old heads telling you guys it has to be done this way or it has to be done that way. Develop it the way God give it to you.
Yeah.
That's my words of encouragement to the future.
Okay. Okay. Starting off strong. I like that. Yes. Okay. Now, for the people who are
Yeah.
seasoned, now I did hear you touch on that just a little bit. But what about those who
Yeah.
have been in ministry as long as we have, and they
Yeah.
are kind of, lost right now, not really sure what to do, not really sure how to keep up with what's going on because, like I said before, there's a new wave coming in.
It is
So, what are
absolutely.
some advice Yeah. What is some advice that you can give those who's been doing it for a long time?
I would tell them to keep working. And
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't take somebody inviting you to an event or to their church for you to work. Man, you can work in your backyard. You can work in your living room. And especially during quarantine, you should really be developing that gift even more. Because what happens when you stop working out? Your muscles get weaker. So when you get back in the gym, it's even harder to get back in the groove. So I would encourage the older minds because granted, we get to this place where we feel like we don't have to work as hard because we've developed a certain level of stamina or gifting. But you guys got to continue to work. Always figure out new ideas, figure out ways to expand the ministry, to expand the brand, and be open, be receptive to learning new art forms to blend in with the gift. Take ballet to make your posture, to make your form better.
Yeah.
Work out. Go run some miles to keep your endurance and stamina. Because that's what a lot of these older moms, they can't even finish a song without being tired. So you can't fully operate in that gift if you don't have the physical endurance to be able to minister to the people. You're not being truly effective because your endurance not there. So I would say be open. Be open to try new things. Be open to see what this younger generation is doing because we can learn from them. Keep your stamina, your physical endurance up, and do the work. It doesn't take somebody inviting you out to their church or inviting you to an event or a concert to work. You can work right there in your living room. Sometimes I just turn on the music, my playlist, and I just dance until I can't stop no more. That's putting in the work because you got to develop the gift. You got to develop it and spend that time with God behind the scenes before you even get out there. So if you're not stirring that gift before it's time to go out, then it's irrelevant. So don't get so stuck in your ways where you feel like you can't do the work behind the scenes. That's all I would say for the seasoned minds that's out there.
Yes, and speaking of pulling on the kids, that's what I do. Cause I listen, I love the babies.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
listen. I love the kids. I love children, and I mentor a lot of them and stuff because not only can I pour into them, but sometimes they be pouring into me too.
Come on, Quan. Come
They
on.
be putting me on game.
Come
I be
on.
like,
Right, 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 right. Look. When I rehearse with kids, I won't even come up with the routine. I make them come up with the routine. I'm like, hey, look, we got a song we go learn. Let's focus on learning the song and we go come up with the routine. And I let them do it because I'm not really teaching them nothing if I give them the entire dance. Let's come up with together. They'll learn it faster and they will enjoy the experience. Because granted, these are kids. These are babies. So for them, it's all about the experience. Now it's different. It's different for older people. But kids, they have to understand and respect the experience. And they gotta have fun. So if they're creating, if they're a part of that creative process, they'll love it and enjoy it more.
yes, it is also easy to cultivate
Oh,
children.
come on, come
It
on.
is so easy to
Ain't
cultivate.
it?
Like, you know what I'm
Ain't
saying? Like,
it?
cause I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher
Yeah,
first, and
yeah.
I've taught from kids to 5 all the way to adults who are in their 50s. My
Um,
greatest joy is not taken away from the adults, but my greatest
right.
joy is pouring into these kids
I'm telling
because
you.
they're sponges.
That's right.
Like
That's
I'm
right, Quan.
telling you, if you get them at an
Oh,
early age and
oh,
you teach
oh.
them the
Yep.
importance of it
That's right.
and you
That's
show
right.
them how to cultivate that
Yeah.
thing, like
Yeah.
I call
Yeah.
them, I call them my little beasts, because I be like, bruh, I'm telling y'all, once I'm done with y'all gonna be out here
Right.
beasting in these
That's
streets,
right.
okay? You
No
gotta,
doubt.
you
No
gotta,
doubt.
and it's so easy to cultivate, and they're so easy to mentor. And speaking of that, explain to these people, those who are watching, the importance of mentorship?
Oh man, it's so key. I think just in life in general, Quan, that whatever field or area you decide to walk in, you gotta have a mentor. And even for me, the people that I mentor, my goal is to meet them where they are. And so whenever they ask for mentorship or guidance, I'm like, okay, let me meet you where you are because you have a desire to kind of be some semi where I'm at. But let me come to you and let me walk this process out with you.
Yeah.
I make it the goals for them attainable, and we take it step by step. We're not shooting for the stars at first sight. We're starting step by step, and I'm taking them through the process. Not only am I taking them through the process, I'm allowing them to go back and repeat the same steps so I understand that they got it. That's the
Yeah.
biggest key because we can teach all day, but if they're not comprehending it and they're not able to verbally communicate the steps and the process is back, then you're not teaching them nothing. I think a lot of times with mentorship, we're just pouring, and all we're doing is we pouring water into a cup, and it's just overflowing. But they're not accepting, they're not receiving anything,
They're
and
not
so I don't care.
yeah.
They're not. They're not. So I don't care if it's just one step that you got to keep driving home for months. Keep driving that point home because once you perfect one thing, then you can move to the next. But if you continue to just try to kind of pour here, pour there, pour into the mental, pour into the spiritual, pour into the physical, it's gonna be so much, especially for babies. It's gonna be hard for them to understand. Like my kids that I teach, all we do is focus on the routine. Let's focus on the routine. Now we got the routine. What does this mean to you? What does this song mean to you now? Now we can truly minister it effectively because we focused on the routine. We focused on the spiritual side. We focused on the physical side. Now that we've mastered all three of those, we can effectively go out and minister. And that's anything with mentorship. Make it a step by step process. Make it easy. It's simple. Make it simple for them, and then they'll be able to apply it, and they'll be effective. Because if they don't see themselves being effective, they'll feel like they're a failure. They'll feel like they haven't accomplished anything. So I don't care if it's the simplest thing. Make sure that that child or that person is effective in just that small thing, so they'll know that they can move on to the next, and they'll see some success in that too.
Yes, 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 absolutely. And also be open to mentorship.
Yeah, yeah,
You
no
got to
doubt.
be open to it because this
Yeah,
is the thing. I know, especially because people are, they're the young people. They're so young, and they already, like, nowadays this new generation. They coming out the womb super independent. Like, they're like,
yeah,
look,
they are.
you cannot tell
Right.
me nothing. Like, I
Yeah,
got this, okay? I could dance
yeah,
circles around you. I'd be like, bruh,
yeah.
let me tell you something, because what you gonna do is you gonna get out there and you gonna mess up,
Right,
and then you're not
right,
gonna want to do it no more because you're embarrassed. So let
right,
somebody tell you something, and I had to learn that from myself too when
right.
I first started. Let somebody tell you something. Let somebody pour into you, because you gotta understand, people are not out to get you. We're
That's
not
right.
out to get you. We are welcoming. Like, I wish, the ministry nowadays was a little bit more welcoming, and we're going to touch on that, and
Yeah,
not so divided or cliquish. But there are
yeah,
some people who are really, really genuine about it, and really, like, see the potential in you, and see the anointing and the gift in you. You could be anointed all day long, but don't nobody
yeah.
want to be an anointed fool. So what you
No,
need to do is you need to allow somebody to show you the way and show you how to properly cultivate that gift so you can be effective.
right. That's
Efficiency
right.
is key in this thing.
It
Like, people
is. You
don't
gotta
get
have
that.
it.
Efficiency is key in ministry, no matter what area you're in, whether you sing, whether you play a minstrel, whether you dance, you mime, or you
Yeah,
use the flags, you use, the weapons of warfare.
That's right.
Efficiency is key in this thing, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to go up there and be branded an entertainer. Then it's like,
right.
okay, well, this is a
Absolutely.
waste, because nobody got
Yeah.
saved. Nobody's mind changed.
Yeah.
Nobody's
That's
heart
right.
was
That's right.
changed. Nobody's focus was turned to Jesus. They was more so focused on the fact that you looked cute doing what you was
Yes,
doing.
ma'am.
And they
That's
still
right.
left up out of the church the same way they came, because
That's right.
we pick up where the pastor and the singers leave off.
Yeah. And I think that's I think too, when it comes back to that mentorship piece, whenever I'm approached about someone saying, "Hey man, I want to learn how to mime," or "I'm interested," I always try what their purpose is, what's their reason behind doing it. And
Mm-hmm.
so, because sometimes people just want to, man, I just want to dance, or listening for that true purpose of help you identify what's the real reason. So you cut out all the legwork when you find out that, man, I want to do it because I seen the way it touched somebody's life, or mine has had a impact on me. I think a lot of times in
Yeah.
ministry now, even in churches, we just signing kids up for the mind ministry. And that's why I'm grateful for my ministry, is because they're just not, it's not, hey, who wants to be a part of mine? Hey, you sign up for mine. Hey, Susie, you sign up for mine. We're just not delegating people. It's about,
Mm-hmm.
if you feel that it's a calling or it's a passion, then we welcome you. But a lot of times we making kids do it. And that's not right, man. We got to stop
Yeah.
forcing these kids into any area of ministry if they don't feel that they're called. Because if they're not called, they're not going to give it 100%. And they're going to end up resenting. They're going to resent that person, or even the church altogether, because they were forced to do something that they didn't want to do. Like my daughters, they've seen me mime since they came out the womb. But I've never forced them, hey, you guys got a mime. Now, they wanted to try it, of course,
Yeah.
because they've seen their daddy. But when they said, Daddy, I don't want to do it no more, it hurt a little bit, but I'm like, okay, cool. Baby, flow in whatever you feel God is calling you to, but I'm not gonna force you to do it.
Yeah. But you know what? At least they felt safe enough to communicate that, because a lot of kids,
Wow.
they
Wow.
got the parents and the elders just putting the kids in the program at the church just so
Mm.
they can have something to do. And the kid, and I've experienced that the kids be in there and they just be giving the instructor a hard time, and I'll be like, hey,
They be struggling. The teachers be struggling. They be struggling.
I want that not out your child. Come get him.
They be
But you
struggling.
got you you gotta create that safe space for your
Yeah,
kids
no
to be
doubt.
able to say, "Hey, mom, hey, dad, look, I love you, but this ain't for me."
Look, them choir directors be struggling, shawty.
They be struggling. I be like, "Ooh, come get him, come get him, please, because I have a problem." And I
Right.
be like, "Mom, snatching that out your kids. Like, come on, come get him."
Right,
I
right.
don't want
You
me
right,
to.
man. We got to create that safe space for them, man, or else they
Woo!
gonna resent you, man. They gonna resent you, and
Yes,
then you got loose cars out here because these kids doing something that they don't want to do, and nobody's life is getting changed. Nobody's being touched or impacted because we forced them. We forced them to do something that they didn't want to do.
absolutely. But I will say this: when baby
Hmm.
girl, my baby, whenever she get here,
That's right. That's right.
I am going to teach her. I
That's
am
fine.
going to teach her the ways. I'm gonna introduce her to ministry. I'm gonna
Hmm.
show her. I'm gonna teach her all of that. But if
Hmm.
my daughter says, "Mom, I really don't want to do this. I want to be this, or I want to be a doctor, or I want to be a lawyer instead." That's
Right.
fine. But I still want you
Yeah.
to learn it, because
Right.
I
Right.
can't run the gift to dance forever.
She got to understand.
I
She got
want
to
them to
understand the
be.
process. She has to understand it in order to delegate. Even if she don't decide it, you got to give her that foundation. And I understand that. That's I perfectly understand that.
Give your kids the foundation and stuff, and
Yep.
help them understand that, hey, this is your legacy,
Yep.
but don't put that unnecessary pressure on them, but
Right.
help them understand the importance of it. And like, I'm like, okay, well, baby, this is your legacy. When the Lord be like, okay, ShaQuann, it's time for you to go sit down somewhere, or I need you to work in this area, because God is shifting me in another area right now, and I'm not even 30 yet, and I'm like, all right, but I still want this in place for the kids. I'm like, baby, I want you to be able to pick up where I left off. I'm not saying you got to be a minister of dance twirling around the world like your mama. You can still be, but have this down pat just in case. Yes, there is certain ways that you can introduce that to your children, or to those that you are mentoring, without it being like an aggressive mandate
or a burden. Or a burden to them. No doubt.
Have those healthy conversations and create that safe space. Like, because what you want to do, you want the kids to feel safe. Like, hey, listen,
indeed,
you can do this, but I want to, you know what I'm saying? So that is important. I'm glad we touched on that, because a lot of people really don't know. This done turned the whole conversation.
I know. We chopping it up for real. We chopping it up for real.
Now, what do you believe the role of the Mime ministry is in the church? Because I know I spoke with the ministers of Mime not too long ago, and they did explain to me that Mime is kind of relatively still kind of new, but even within that fresh and that newness, what do you think the role is in the church?
I think that I think churches should embrace mime being a part of this regular praise and worship throughout the entire praise and worship service, and not just a fourth Sunday or youth Sunday thing. I think that's a culture that's been pushed for so long, is that you're only supposed to have mime on Easter Sunday or for Christmas. But I think that the church as a whole should look at the entire arts, liturgical dance, as part of a worship experience. Because when you don't, because the way society is now, society is everything is dance, it's pop locking, and society has embraced that. And so I believe in order to truly reach the masses, that the church has to incorporate mime within the entire praise and worship experience, or through the word, or through illustration, while the pastor's preaching. I think we should start incorporating that throughout the entire ministry, instead of just having it on a specific Sunday or a holiday. It should be incorporated just on a regular, consistent basis.
Okay, so I got a rebuttal to that. Now,
please do.
I understand that, it's just as important as it is, because I've seen some dynamic groups. I've experienced that. I have been a part of that. I kind of dabbled in mime too, but I was like, okay, this ain't really for me. But
yes, ma'am.
I've also experienced the power of it and the efficiency of it. I've experienced that, but I've also experienced how distracting it can be. Now, once upon a time, I was a part of a ministry where we had the dancers and the mimers. We did praise and worship together. And one Sunday, I wasn't on schedule. So I just sat back and I watched, because I wanted, I'm a visual person. So if I see something, I can be like, okay, that needs to be corrected or that needs to be fixed or whatever like that. That's just how I am.
Right.
So my thing is, I sat back and I watched it, and I didn't like how it looked. And I'm going to tell you why. It was a distraction. Nobody really knew what was going on. It's like everybody wasn't on one accord. You see what I'm saying? Because they were up there together. So you had one portion doing something else, and then you had the other side doing something else. And then a lot of people, it really wasn't properly introduced to the congregation, because some of the people, especially the elderly, they were afraid to see the mimers up there jumping out at them because, the paint and stuff like that. And then, you know what I'm saying? So for me, I feel like it should be practiced, and it should, like, you should cultivate that area a little bit more before you just decide that you want to jump out there and do praise and worship. Because I feel like praise and worship portion of ministry is the most important part of the service. Yes, you got the word, but I feel like praise and worship is the most important part of the service, because that is when you really communicate with God. You praising him and you letting them know how wonderful and awesome he is, and you giving thanks. And then on the worship portion of it, you just letting them know who he is and showing adoration. Some people with mime don't know how to do that, don't know how to communicate that in that moment. Now they can do a piece, they could do a dance piece, they could dance to, a Kurt Carr or a Hill song or a Kirk Franklin. They can do that because it was practiced and it was rehearsed for that particular moment. But on the flip side of things, some of them don't look like, I'm be honest, some of them just don't look right doing praise and worship.
Right. So hear me out, Quan. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And that was just my experience. I don't know what anybody else's experience is, but in my experience, it just don't look right, because the people who were up there doing it really didn't know what they were doing. But when it was time for them to do like their own group piece, they killed it.
Right. So I respect your rebuttal, but this is what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm not saying we throw them out there, like just start doing it.
Okay.
I think we have to come to a place as mime ministers that we're so well versed with practicing with the praise and worship team, that we're sensitive to what the Spirit is doing, that if we need to be incorporated at a certain period of time of praise and worship, then we should be able to flow freely. Now, granted, I'm not going to practice with my babies in rehearsal and just say, hey, you guys going up there with praise and worship on Fifth Sunday. No, we're cultivating that behind the scenes with the praise and worship ministry when they're studying, when they're praying. And if the Spirit is leading at a certain time in a song to blend in, then that's what the Spirit is calling for. I think the mime ministry of mime, we boxed ourselves in so much that the only time we could get on the stage is when we're doing a solo. Mm-hmm. I think in the when we look at it long term, I think we should be able to incorporate ourselves through praise and worship, but there's only certain people that's going to be able to flow. That's just it. Some people are not going to be able to do it. Granted, some kids are not going to be able to do it, but I do think there are some ministers of mine that can truly flow with the Spirit. It definitely has to be a flow, because if it's not a flow, it's not going to work. It's going to look like what you described. But if it's some people that are tuned and tapped into the Spirit, they will be able to flow, and it's going to be seamless. It's going to look like it's supposed to be a part of it. But I think we boxed it in where we're not even trying it at all. But there are some people out there that can truly tap into what's going on during the service, and they can flow in and out. Yeah.
Okay. I was concerned when you said that. I was like,
No,
wait,
no,
hold
no,
on,
no,
wait a minute.
no, 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 no. I'm saying that's what I feel the future of mime should go, is that we're cultivating and developing people to tap into the spirit of God. So when it's time for praise and worship, if the praise and worship team is ministering and they need us, we've learned their songs, we know the songs already that they go sing, and we can just flow in and out as needed. That's all.
Speaking of flowing,
Yeah.
have you had a supernatural experience during your ministry moment? Like where you felt
Um,
like, and what was that like? Because see, some people, they can't really, they're like, okay, I feel, they really don't know how to, how to describe that feeling or what it actually feels like. So can you describe the moment you actually experienced that?
yeah. I was, I don't remember, it was early, maybe like 2009. I was at a church called In Spirit, and I was ministering to the battles not yours. And I felt, I felt something shift when I did a certain move, and I heard people start hollering and speaking in tongues. And I was getting ready to do a move and I fell, and I jumped back up and I just started moving. But I felt something come over my body that I wasn't even me no more. Like even when I go back, and I can explain that even now, like when I go back and look at myself, I'm like, who is that guy? That lets me know that I died to myself. When I can go back and look, and I like if you ask me to mime right now, I couldn't even do it because I have to tap into a place spiritually that my flesh
Right.
completely dies and that
Yeah.
I'm flowing with the spirit. And so that's what happened at that moment. That I had died to my flesh so much that God came in and said, okay, it's my turn now. That's why I fell. And when I got up, I can't even tell you what I did after that because he totally took over my body at that time.
That's the same thing that happened to me. Oh, I think my moment, I think I was 17 when it happened to me. I'm fresh out. I just started dancing. I started the
Yeah.
dance ministry, because everybody knows, if you read my book, everybody knows, like, I tell them the whole story. I'm like, look, I was that girl, okay? Wasn't
Yeah.
nobody
Yeah.
touching me when it came to
Yeah.
dance. You know what I'm saying? I did
Yeah.
everything. But when I got into ministry, of course, anything that I do, I put 1000% into. So during this moment, it was me and my dance leader at the time. Something shifted during praise and worship. And just like you just described, like you just fell, right? So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
wasn't like a fall, like, oh, I fell down, you know what I'm
No,
saying? It
no,
was just
no,
like
no,
oh my
no.
God. And
Yeah.
when I got up, you know what I'm saying? When I got up, I wasn't ShaQuann no more. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
Like,
That's right. Say
and
that.
so
Say that.
I feel for me because I enjoyed that feeling so much. And I felt
Yeah.
the presence of God, and I actually felt Him like
Right.
pat me on my back.
Come
You know
on.
what I'm
Come on.
saying?
Come on.
Giving me the
Come on.
strength to keep going because our praise and worship leader at the time, shout out to him. Um, he kept going and going and going and going and going and going and going. And we was up there
Mm.
for like 30 minutes.
I can only imagine.
You know what I'm saying? So I could just feel God just like, come on, you got, I got you. I need you to
Ooh.
deliver this message to these people. I need
All
you to
right.
keep, don't be tired. I'm sweating, my head done fell down. You know
That's
what I'm
right.
saying?
That's right.
And
That's right.
every time, and I've never told nobody this, but every time I get the opportunity to minister, I fight for that moment.
That's right. You got to. Quan, That's what I teach my kids. I'm like, look, every second matters. Every part of that song matters. Even if it's a raindrop, it matters. Even if it's the drums, it matters. Even if it's an ad lib, it matters.
Nobody this, but every time like I get the opportunity to minister, or you know what I'm saying, go forth, I literally fight for that moment. There have been plenty of times where like I'll be ministering and all my people from changing, y'all know what I'm talking about. It will be moments where somebody gotta come pick me up.
Yeah.
Somebody gotta come get me from off the pulpit. Somebody gotta come get me from off the floor. Somebody gotta come get me from off the altar, because I went that hard. And sometimes I just be fighting for that moment again. See, people don't, that's why like people don't understand, like, okay, well, ShaQuann, why you take it so seriously? You don't understand the feeling that I felt that day, and I fight for it every single time. So when I get frustrated, when I see these ministers of dance up here just going through the motions, or when I see you up here being mediocre and I get upset, that's because of that moment right there. Like, if you experienced that moment like I did, or had any moment with God remotely close to it, you wouldn't be up there just going through the motions. You wouldn't be up there with your toes not pointed. You wouldn't be up there with your hair looking crazy. You wouldn't be up there with your garments too big or your garments too tight and your choreography ain't got no earl. You wouldn't be up there when you just came from the club the night before, or you just got out of bed with somebody that you weren't supposed to be with. You wouldn't be up there doing the absolute most if you felt that moment, or if you experienced that with God. And that's why I go so hard, but that's why I go so hard behind this thing. And I be telling everybody, y'all need to cultivate your gift. And that ain't just choreography. That's time with God. That's basic understanding of what you're doing, because they got a lot of people out here just doing it just to be doing it, and then want to get mad at people like me who actually take it seriously. Like, oh, now you're doing too much. No, I'm not doing too much. I'm fighting to feel the presence of God once again. And I feel like once I feel that, then I can push that out to y'all who are witnessing what's going on, so you can feel him too. That is our mission, to usher into the presence of God, into the hearts of man. If I'm not feeling the presence of God, what makes you think I'm going to be able?
Nobody else going to feel it.
Nobody, exactly. So every single time I get up there, it could be for 2 minutes. It can be for 30. I remember I was at the Unrestrained Worship Conference that's hosted by Pastor Lumpkin. We was up there for like an hour and 30 minutes straight, just dancing. And I'm like, and and even in those moments, I could feel God, and I feel like I'm able to go that hard, not because I'm in shape, but because God literally be like, you know how you be in the, like the boxers when they get in the corner and the coach, be rubbing their shoulders, like, all right, you got this, you know, this, that, and the third, do this, Bob, you know what I'm saying? God literally be doing that to me. He be like, okay, ShaQuann, look, you done did too many turns.
Right. No doubt. You said something. I'm sorry. You said something. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, it's those moments right there. It's those moments right there. So if you ever felt the presence of God or felt God touch you, you know what that feeling feels like. You know how amazing it feels. You should fight for that moment every single chance you get. That's That's just my take on it. That's what I do. I don't know what everybody else do, but that's what I do.
But you know what? That's the standard that we gotta set for the people that we can reach. Because my thing is this, and I tell people this all the time. Man, if you get on that stage and you can just walk off and you feeling good and you're not tired, you don't feel like you gave your all, then you really didn't give your all. And for me, that's just facts. If you can walk out there and you didn't truly embrace every second of that song where you empty out, like I really want to empty out fully. When I get off that stage, or if and you can ask my video guy, when we shoot, every time we shoot, every minute, I'm giving my all. I'm drenched with sweat because I want to make sure, God, when I'm done with this, I want to make sure I left everything out there and I gave my best. And every time I do that, He continues to refill me, and I want that same moment or greater every single time. And that's what I encourage my kids to do. If it's 1 second of a song, we gonna give our all. If it's 1 minute, we giving our all. And so when I put when I put my natural on top of God pouring all the super on me, and it's gonna explode. But a lot of times what happens is we're not giving our all. We're waiting to a certain part of the song to give our all, and we're waiting to a certain break to go in from the top of the song to the end of the song. And what happens when you hit the end of the song, people still gonna be worshiping and praising even after the song is over with. That's how you know you gave it 100%.
Absolutely. Y'all take notes.
Yep.
Because you might not get this nowhere else.
Man, that's heavy, Quan.
Yes.
That's heavy. Fight for that moment.
Yes, I fight for that moment every single, and even when I'm at home, you know what I'm saying? Like if I got a lot going on or whatever, because sometimes I can't verbalize how I'm feeling with God. Sometimes I can't. Sometimes my dance is my prayer. So
that's right.
If I could verbalize it physically, he know we see each other.
That's our communication though. Like everybody communicates with God differently.
Yeah.
And to be honest, that's a form of intercession, what we're doing. So we're not really verbally interceding with our mouths. We're doing it with our arms, with our legs, with our head. And God is receiving that. I don't think He looks at it any different. Somebody that can verbally communicate it, through somebody that can express it without words, and that we're giving everything we have to the moment. I believe He speaks to us just the same way He speaks to an intercessor or a prayer warrior, because we're communicating, we're giving praises. We're giving praises unto Him, and He receives that. And I believe He loves that more because we're giving our all. We're pouring out everything in us unto Him. And so, man, I feel like God embraces that as well.
Absolutely. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I feel the shift.
Feel the presence right now. Feel the presence.
Listen.
Thank God for it, man. Thank God for it. That's real. See, that's the moment. That's the moment. Like, we got to get into a place as dancers that we're not afraid to embrace what's going on in that moment.
Yeah.
And when we get to that, even if it's just worship, and you feel the presence of God shifting, and you just keep doing that, and it's building, stay in that moment. Who tells you that you have to go on to the next movement? No, if He's right there in just this, stay there. Stay there. We rush God sometimes by trying to go to the next thing rather than staying in that moment and fighting right there where you at.
Right. And speaking of rushing God, you can't do that. You got to understand, this is not something for Him to be like, okay, I need you to move now. We are actually glorifying Him in that moment. That's just for Him to actually sit back. I know God is omnipresent, but I know sometimes God be like, okay, y'all doing too much. I need a break. Let us be God's break. Like, okay, let me just sit back and Oh, you love me for real.
That's
Dang,
right.
that's how you feel, that's how you
That's
feel,
right.
son. That's how you feel, daughter. Like,
Yeah.
because I'll be thinking like that. I'll be like, okay, God, I know you just put out a whole bunch of fires and,
Right.
you just healed and did all this stuff or whatever. But can I just, can I give you a break today? Can I just show you? You see what I'm saying? Can I do that? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we gotta be the fan in the shade for God. Like, let God sit back with his feet up and be like, those are my children. Wow. That's how y'all feel about me. Wow. Let me relax. Let me sip on this water while y'all just go crazy for me. That's how I
Man,
be thinking sometimes. Like, I be
look,
like,
look, but don't it put you in the mind when the Bible tells you to contend for the faith, like fight for the faith, like you know what, God, I got you right here. You gifted me for this time. You appointed me for this time. Sit back and chill while I go
yes,
serve
sit
the
back
people
and chill.
for you. And you know when you do that, what happens? He's like, man, you got me. Okay, here you
Woo!
go. Go ahead and handle it. You say I can chill for a minute? Go ahead and handle it, man. Mm. Hey, we contending for the faith, man. We contending for the faith. We fighting for the faith. You know what, God? I got you. I got you. You want to take a break? Take 5 minutes. I got you at this moment. You prepared me. You prepared me for such a time as this, where I got the whole squad if I need to. I got my
Exactly.
pastor if I need to. Man,
Wow. Whew. So for
yeah,
those who really do think that we just up here in form and fashion, just doing the most, just there, just to be seen, that hear us. That's not why we're here.
nah,
That's not what we're here to do. And if you are in this thing thinking that that's what it is, and it's just an opportunity for you to be seen by somebody, or for you to be picked up out of the church. Because what I've been seeing a lot lately is a lot of people bring their talents through the church
yeah,
just so they can be discovered. That's
right,
that's that's not what this is.
right,
And if you are in this just for that sole purpose, I beg of you to leave.
yeah,
It's
no
all
doubt.
right. We're not gonna be mad at you. Nobody ain't gonna, you know, hurt you or nothing like that. Anybody gonna do you nothing. If that is why you are a part of the dance ministry, the mime ministry, flaggers, that's why you are a part of this. Leave
Yeah,
now
right,
before it is too late. Because what's going to happen is, and I've seen it happen before, you could be up there hopping around thinking you're doing something and messing around and hurt yourself, and then you're not going to be able to move ever again. Okay?
no doubt.
Or you can get sick. Playing. Stop playing. It ain't just on the pastors. It
Right.
ain't just on the singers. It ain't just on the musicians. It's on us too. And I feel like it's on us a lot more heavier because we're in the physical sense. Y'all can just stand up there and do what y'all do. Most musicians I know, they sit down and play an instrument.
Right,
Hello.
right,
But
right,
there's a
right,
science to what we do.
right.
Physical stuff. Like
That's
we
right.
actually use our bodies. Our bodies are literally the ultimate sacrifice every single time we get up there and minister. We giving it all of that. Okay? So I beg of you, if you are and you've been feeling that way for a minute and you wasn't quite sure, let this be a confirmation to you. Leave now. You could find something else to do to glorify God. I'm not saying that you can't do it at all. I'm not saying that you can't glorify God at all. There's probably something else that you can do to give him the glory. But if it ain't this, leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have way
It's
too
all
many.
about the intent of the heart.
The intent of the heart, exactly. You got to be intentional about this thing.
That's right.
So
That's right.
I'm gonna just drop that in your nugget.
Yeah.
In your chicken nugget box.
Sure. It was needed. Absolutely.
Woo. Let's go on a lighter note, because we done got heavy. You know what? I'm gonna divide this interview up. This is gonna be a part 1, and this is gonna be a part 2.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Hey, it ain't gonna go nowhere. It's gonna stay right here. It ain't gonna go. We can go for another hour. It's not gonna shift, Quan. It ain't gonna shift.
Jimmy this thing up. Oh yes. Okay. So let's go to a lighter note. What is the greatest memory you have in ministry during your time? What's the greatest moment you would never ever forget?
Man, I got a call, and this is recent. I got a call a couple of years ago from Miss Maxine. She takes all my bookings for me. And she said, there's this gentleman that wants you to come dance for a men's conference. And I said, okay. I used to kind of ask, like, well, how did he hear about me? She said, he was watching your videos while he was in prison. And so I reached out to the brother, and he was like, man, he said, I just got off a 5-year bid. And he said, I used to just watch your videos just for encouragement. And man, I said, God, that's why you got me here. It's for the church, but it's for them people that's in prison. It's for them people that's out there hurting, that the only side of a church they see is through me. And so if I can touch a brother, man, that's in prison, man, then praise God. That's what I'm here for. Wow. That's my greatest moment. That's my greatest moment.
Oh wow.
For real.
Oh man. My greatest moment went a little bit differently.
Go ahead.
My greatest moment was unexpected. Of course, you can't tell God what your plan is. Let's start there. You can't tell God what your plan is, because he gonna laugh at you every single time. And I feel like this is what happened to me.
Right.
It was I forgot what year it was, but it was a while back. Let me see. Probably like 13, 14, 15. Yep. Probably around in that bracket. Okay. You know, I was heavily involved with the women's ministry at my church, and you know, every Women's Month I would, you know, minister on the annual day or for the pre-annual night that they would have leading up to that Sunday. So I was charged to put something together, but I didn't want to do it alone. So I called on, you know, a few of the other girls who were in ministry with me to do this dance. It was, we were going to do 4 women. But we were going to do the Black Girls Rock version. Because, you know, Jill Scott and Lettucey and Marsha Ambrosia, and I forgot the other young lady's name. You saw that version, right? We were going to do that version of, you know, Nina Simone song. Oh, but when I tell you, I put my foot and ankle and whole left thigh in that choreography. But I'm telling you, we was ready to go because it had never because I'm one thing about me, I'm very creative and I like to do stuff out of the box. No one has ever seen something like that done in the church. Of course, it's going to be appropriate, because I do everything in decency and in order. You would not tap me on the shoulder and tell me to come down. That's not going to happen. So we was ready to go. We were ready to go.
Yeah.
I submitted everything to the powers that be.
Yep.
Tell me why they called me the day we were supposed to do it. It was like, yeah, so we listened to the song and we pulled the plug on that. What? Talk about somebody that was upset. Talk about somebody ready to fight. Talk about somebody that was like, okay, now see, I was more so upset at the fact that I'm like, okay, y'all could have did that if it was just me by myself. I could take that hit. But now I gotta go explain it to these people who because everybody know I don't play in rehearsal. I was working them, okay?
Right.
Y'all did all this work.
For them to pull the plug?
So I'm mad and I'm upset. And they're like, okay, but ShaQuann, we didn't say that you couldn't dance. We just said you couldn't do this one. So I'm like, what I'm supposed to do?
Right.
What do you mean? I still gotta dance? Yeah. Are you out of your mind? I don't have anything for you. He did figure it out. I got home. Wait, before I got home, I was on my way home from work. I called my mama. Everybody know me. I call my mom about everything. So I called my mama and I said, Mom, tell me why they just pulled the plug on 4 women. She was like, what? Why? What is it? She upset now. And I'm like, okay, calm down. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. How I'm supposed to tell them that we not dancing, but they still want me to dance? What I'm supposed to do? Right. Like, well, just do it. You're supposed to be on my side. So there was this song that was heavy in my spirit since a little girl. My mom used to play this song all the time, even when we were living in New Orleans. She would play this song every single morning, taking me to school. The commute to school was like 15 to 20 minutes or whatever like that. She would play this song every single morning and it drove me crazy. But as I got older, I learned how to appreciate the song and actually interpret it. Like, oh, wow, she was really saying some heavy stuff. So the name of the song was called Testify by Diane Reeves. And so my mom was like, why don't you just do Testify? You know that song. I've played that song for you since you were a little girl. You know that song. And I was like, Mom, the service start in 3 hours.
Hold up. This was the same day they pulled the plug?
They pulled the plug the same day. They called me at 4 something. Service started at 7:30. Are you out of your everlasting? Oh boy. When I tell you I had reads prepared, a book full of reads prepared for administration at Change. I was so upset. I was livid. But I'm like, okay, I still have to do this. I've been charged to do it. But in the back of my mind, I'm still like, how I'm going to explain to these girls that they cut our dance, but they still want me to dance. That's gonna look crazy on me. But they understood. Thank God. It was like, okay, that's fine. We're gonna be there to support you and stuff like that. Don't worry about it. I was like, thank you, Jesus. But in my mind, I had cried. I'm a crybaby when it comes to stuff. I boo-hooed. I went in my room. My mom was like, just go in your room and just figure it out. So I had this
All right.
long mirror in my room. So I just sat in the mirror and I sat on the edge of my bed and I was just moving like on this. And my mom was like, "Hey, what time you got to be at the church? It's 7:00." I'm like, "I don't have anything. Lord, help me." I was like, "God, please, Lord, I need you. If I never needed you before, I need you to come through for me on this because I still got to minister to these. God, don't. Is this the moment?
Yeah.
Right? I
Right.
was like, God, is this the moment right here? I
Right.
ain't do nothing
Yeah.
wrong. I go to church. I'm saved. I I ain't I'm ratchet a little bit, but I ain't too out of control. You know what I'm saying? And I called my leader at the time, and he was sweating bullets the whole time because he know how I am. He was like, "ShaQuann, you got to be on at 8 something." Okay, I pulled up to the church before 8 o'clock. I had my garment on. I just walked in there, and I had my hair. I was having a bad hair day, so I had the wrap. My mom tied my hair up in this little wrap. It was so cute. I'm telling you, she picked my garment out. She's like, "Where it is?" Because I just couldn't think. And so my
Yeah.
mom was like, she said, "I'm gonna be home and I'm gonna be watching." Because it was being streamed live.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
got to that church, and my leader at the time, he was like, "Quan, what you need from me?" And I wanted to say,
Right.
but I said, "Just get me some water and get me a chair." He's like, "That's it?" I said, "That's it. Just get me a chair and tell them people to cut the lights off." I told him to cut the lights off because I just thought that was just something.
Right.
And
Right.
they called me. They said, "Quan, come on, it's your turn." I got up there and I sat in the chair like this the whole time. I was like, "Lord, it's just me and you." All right. I said, "It's just me." I just kept saying that. I was like, "Lord, it's just
Yeah.
me and you. It's just me and you." They cut the lights off, but then they cut the lights back on. So the people saw me just sitting there like this, like, "Lord, it's just me and you." I just kept saying that. I was like, "Lord, it's just me and you." So the part that I rehearsed in my bedroom, I did it, but I looked up in front of me and I forgot that the first assistant pastor installed this giant monitor right in front of me. That was my mirror. When I tell you, I was looking at that, and you would think that I'm looking at the camera, but I was looking at that thing the whole
You
time.
was looking at that mirror.
And it's like God was showing me the movement. And people got saved that night.
Yeah.
It wasn't a gospel song. It was more so
Yeah.
on the jazzy side. So
Yeah.
to this day, Testify is the most requested ministry piece. Every time somebody called me, they're like, "Can you do that dance you did that night? When was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you do that?" And every time I do it, the choreography is not the same because the dance was never choreographed in the first place. And I feel like that was the greatest moment for me because it taught me a valuable lesson. First, you can't tell God what your plan is. He gonna laugh
You
at you
can't.
every single time. And on
Yeah.
top of that, you have to trust him enough to know that even in those uncertain spaces, he got you, and he know that's you, his baby, first and
That's
foremost.
right.
I had to say, "Okay, I'm your baby. God,
Yeah.
I'm your baby. I know you're not gonna just let me go out here and I'm doing this for you. I know you're
Yeah.
not gonna let me fall flat on my face in front of all of these people."
That's right.
But that monitor was my saving grace because I it's like he showed me the movement before I did it. So if anybody watching this was there that night and you saw me kept looking forward, that was why. Because I was like, okay, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
All right. So
right.
it's that was the greatest moment for me, because that was reinsurance that yeah, I'm good by myself,
Yeah.
but when God get in it, ooh.
Man.
And I hold that moment to me so dearly, because no one knows this story but my mama and the people behind the scenes who was sweating bullets because they thought I was about to light a fuse up in that church because of how they tried to play me. But they was like, ShaQuann is untouchable. I'm like, no, it ain't me. It's God. Because I'm telling you, if he really didn't have his hand on me, all of y'all would have got hurt. All of y'all would have got some words delivered to you, because I don't play about this thing. But I feel like that was the greatest moment for me. And I'm like,
man,
even to this day, even telling it now, I got chills telling you this story because I'm like, God really got me.
Yeah.
He really got me. And that's one of my most vulnerable and powerful pieces ever. Every time somebody asks me to do it, the choreography is never the same because it was never any choreography to begin with.
We got to do a part 2 because it's so much stuff we got to talk about. Choreography, we got to talk about. I mean, it's a lot. We ain't even touched the surface, man. We ain't touched the surface, man.
We ain't touched the surface yet. So let's put a pin. Let's put a pin in it right now, and we're gonna do a part 2. So
we got to.
Before we go, tell everybody where they can contact you and where they can reach you.
So on all social media platforms, guys, you can find me at the number 1Purpose Mime. You can also go to my website, 1purposemime.com. That's the best way to find me.
All right. Well, y'all know where to find me at. All the information is at the bottom of the screen.
Hey, look, man, don't you feel that presence still hovering, man?
Ooh. You know, when I go into these things and I talk to y'all, because a lot of you I haven't met, but when I go into these conversations, it's always something there because there's a purity there. There's a pure presence. There's a pure heart there. There's a pure love for what this is. And I feel like I've been charged to show that to the world. That's exactly right. What this is, because people really don't know. They don't understand it. They're like, "Oh my God, what are they doing?" Nah, bro, this is some heavy stuff. Absolutely. You think preaching is heavy? You think singing is heavy? Nah, dance is heavy.
Coming to this dance world. Coming to this dance world.
Woo! Step up in here. You ain't gonna last if you know what I'm saying. Right. They be like, ShaQuann, you can't sing. I ain't trying to sing, but I know one thing: you can't do what I do.
Come on over here real quick.
Come on over here real quick. I'm gonna show you how it's done. I'm gonna show you how we get down over here in these dance ministry streets.
Right. No doubt.
Ain't no games. But thank y'all so much. We are going to do a part 2. This is just the beginning, and I'm excited about it. So tune in Wednesday night at 7 p.m. We're gonna be on YouTube. We're gonna be on Facebook Live. We setting this Atlanta series off right. Okay.
Absolutely.
We set it off right. But until next time, I'm going to see y'all in the dance room. Y'all be good now. Bye.